It's an absolute honor and a privilege to be with you here this afternoon to share in what I call is our story. I say our story because I truly believe at the end of the day, this journey that we're on is one of connection and interconnection. The things that I've learned, the places I've been, the lessons that I've learned on my journey, the lessons you've learned on your journey, the things that you've done, the places you've been, the ripple effects created by those experiences are what connect us all, the fabric between what makes our communication, our relationships, the things that we learn, the things that we do, and places we go together so special, that connection. My hope today is to share 5 keys that I've learned on my journey, 5 lessons that I've learned through my experiences personally and professionally as an entrepreneur, and that those 5 keys might help you on your journey, the things that you're building in any sector, personally or professionally as well. Those keys are first, what I believe the most important, self-awareness, understanding who you are, the skills, the talent, the gifts that you bring to any situation. Secondly, your vision. What's your plan? What do you see? Where do you see things going? Communication, understanding that being able to communicate internally, how do I feel, the things that you internalize, being able to unpack those for self, so critical. And then being able to externally communicate that to your team, to get their buy-in, to allow them to buy into your vision of where you want to take them, where you want to go, so important. Fourth, your flexibility. In any journey, sometimes you plan one direction and something else happens. The ability to pivot for any entrepreneur in any sector is so critical as well. And all those things lead into perseverance, being able to stand despite the challenge, despite the struggle, to keep working, to keep building, to put brick after brick after brick. Those things together through my journey have been mission critical to me finding some success along the way. And I wanted to share the story of my first company that I acquired in 2008. Blessed Manufacturing. It was an inline manufacturing machine that I bought against the advice of my financial advisors, family, and friends. I saw the machine and I thought, I could do something with this. I had never built a company before, but I had a mentor tell me the importance of starting life after football before I retired from the NFL. And with that advice, I said, let me start a company. Even though I was still playing, I played for 11 years, which was a tremendous blessing. I knew it was important that I figured out something that I would do when my career one day would come to an end. And that thing just happened to be pre-filled communion cups. And it was challenging. For the first 2 years, I didn't sell a single cup. I moved the machine out of the facility where it was into a new 10,000 square foot factory that I opened here downtown. I would leave practice at Hallis Hall every Tuesday, and I'd go to the facility and I'd work in setting up. After every practice, I'd be putting the lines down. We were tweaking and tinkering with the machine and trying to stand up this new business that I knew nothing about. It was 2 years. 2 years of just work and grind. We rebuilt the machine. We went from a PET plastic to a PVC, to a PET, to a PLA plastic, which was corn-based, right? I'm getting this education on plastics, right? Who would have thought? I did not know. A servo motor, a PLC, all of these things through just diving in head first. I began to level up as a manufacturer in a space that previously I knew nothing about. Over those 2 years, we would not sell a single cup, not one. When I actually moved the machine from storage to my facility, we turned it on. When I looked at it before I bought the machine, the cups were coming perfectly off the line, standing up upright, full with juice, and the little wafer. It was just a beautiful thing. When I set it up at my factory, the conveyor belt was covered with purple juice, spilling onto the floor, cups crushed, wafers soggy. And, I cried a little bit. It was, it was a nightmare, right? It was a nightmare. And we stuck in it. We stuck through it. We made the changes that we needed to. Some things that we had planned, we abandoned those plans and pivoted to upgrades and different things that we needed to do to survive. Just when things were at their darkest, I stood at the edge of shutting the business down. One day after practice, I went to the office and I looked through all of the boxes that we had acquired in the acquisition. And as I flipped through the files, there was one company that was spending about $2.5 million with the old business. I cold called the CFO, Kasi, and I said, Kasi, I'm Israel Idonije, who I am, what I did. I bought this new machine. We've stood up this new business, this new brand. First thing he said to me was, that you guys owe me $750,000. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's not me. I assure you, we have nothing to do with that old company, that old brand. We're a new company, a new brand. And over the next 3 months, I convinced him to finally send 3 of his executives to Chicago to come learn about our business, to learn about our passion, really our focus on being the best in this space, being the best in this pre-filled communion manufacturing space, to providing him the best product he would ever had, the best service he would ever had. And they spent a week with me here in Chicago. At the end of that week, they gave us a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract, and we survived, right? Sometimes in our lives, that moment where you think things are at their bleakest, right? You've worked so hard and things just aren't falling into place. You just need to hold on a little bit longer. Find another pivot, find another way, find a path to stay in it for one more day, one more week, one more month, and your breakthrough is just on the other side. And for me, this was that situation, right? We persevered, and just when things were at their darkest, we were able to survive, and not only survive, over the next 15 years we would thrive and become a global leader in the pre-filled communion space. Our cups have been literally all over the world and beyond, to the space station. They do communion there with our cups, and I'm just so thankful for all the lessons learned just by diving in, and truly the lessons that I learned through that business, I've also can reflect on and find them through my journey in sport, right? I joined the Chicago Bears at 21 years old, came here to Chicago from Canada, and, I was undrafted. They, wanted me to play a position I wasn't familiar playing, so I had to be flexible to make those adjustments. I was constantly in communication with my coach on what he needed from me in order for me to get more playing time, right? Active communication is a two-way street. Coach, I want to play more. All right, what do I need from you to be able to play more, right? Team is what sport is all about, right? Building with that team, working with my team, understanding my role, right? The vision for the team, buying into that, but also having a vision for myself, right? What was my vision? I wanted to play. I wanted to start. I wanted to win a championship, win a Pro Bowl, all those things, right? Those same 5 principles have applied to really everything that I've been involved in personally and both professionally as well. So as you reflect on your life, your journey, the things that you're building, the things that you're working on, understand yourself, right? Your gifts. My coach, Rod Marinelli, used to call it the toolkit. You open your toolkit when you come into contact with a problem, an issue, a scenario. In that toolkit, what tools do you have? Do you have the tools in that toolkit to overcome, to fix, to solve that issue? If you don't, does someone on your team have those tools necessary? That's why your team is so important. And building that team is so important. You need to be able to communicate with those teammates so they're bought into your vision, right? When your team's bought into your vision, that's how you win, right? I play my role to the best of my ability. You play your role to the best of your ability. And together we accomplish, we win, we solve problems, we accomplish, we win, we solve problems. One day we look up, we're like, wow, look what we've accomplished, what we've done together, right? Communication is so important in that relationship as you build together. And then that leadership, right? They're bought into the vision. They're bought into what you're doing. They're bought into the destination. And along the way, I promise you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to be flexible. And so often the entrepreneurs that don't make it, the folks that struggle along the way, are so rigid in like what they want to do. And sometimes what unveils itself is just a different path. It's not wrong, it's just different. And sometimes you gotta pivot, you gotta make a right, left, and then get back to where you need to be. And the openness to flex, make that change so you can grow and move forward is so important. And your team is so important to that as well. And just all of those, again, just lead into perseverance. So regardless of where you are with what you're doing, what you're building, persevere, stay in at work. I think a final thing that I would add is in that journey as well, make sure you enjoy it, right? Being an entrepreneur is hard. Building a company is hard. This journey of life for all of us is hard, right? It's full of challenges for everybody. Challenge is ubiquitous. It's something that we all will experience, right? The key is how you handle it, who you're around, the people, are they there to uplift you while you go through those struggles, those challenges? And as you go through it, being intentional about celebrating those brick by brick wins, be intentional about celebrating those milestones that you achieve with your team. And I promise you, you will look up one day, look around how far you've come, the people around you that are on that journey with you, and together you'll be astonished, you'll celebrate, you'll high five, and you'll have such a sense of accomplishment for what you've built together. Thank you.